God. Lice.
You know that feeling when your stomach just drops? Like you're on a roller coaster, except you're standing in your own kitchen at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, holding a piece of paper that's about to blow up your entire life. Yeah, that was me, staring at a notice from Roosevelt Elementary. 7 words that made my blood run cold. Head lice outbreak detected in 3rd grade. I'm gonna tell you something wild. Something that started with bugs in my kid's hair and ended with me becoming a completely different person. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up. My name's Sarah Mitchell. I'm 42, live in suburban Connecticut, and up until 3 months ago I was invisible. The kind of mom who wore yoga pants to Target and kept her hair long because that's just what you do when you hit 40, right? You keep it long, maybe add some highlights to cover the gray, pull it back in a ponytail and call it a day. But that Tuesday afternoon, standing in my kitchen with that stupid lice notice in one hand and my car keys in the other, I had no idea I was about to get the surprise of my life. Let me paint you a picture of my family. There's my husband, Mike. 6'2", works construction, hands like baseball mitts. He's the kind of guy who can fix anything, cars, plumbing, broken toys, you name it. Doesn't say much, but when he does, you listen. Then there's my son, Tyler. 8 years old, all freckles and energy. That kid could power a small city with his enthusiasm. His hair was this shaggy, sun-bleached mess that fell into his eyes. Was, past tense, remember that. And my daughter, Emma, 14, and God help me, in the thick of that mean girl phase. You know the type, glued to her phone, rolling her eyes at everything I say, and with this gorgeous, thick brown hair that fell halfway down her back. She spent more time straightening that hair than she did on her homework. So there I am, panicking about lice, when Mike comes home from the job site. He takes one look at me at that paper and something in his face just hardens. No, he says, just like that. No way we're dealing with this the normal way. Now here's what you need to understand about Mike. 3 months earlier, Emma had done something really, really awful. There was this girl in her class, Kennedy. Sweet kid, a little awkward, not one of the popular ones. Kennedy's mom had buzzed all 3 of her daughters' heads after a lice scare. Just preemptive, you know? Better safe than sorry. Emma thought it was hilarious. She took pictures, posted them on Instagram with these cruel captions. Called Kennedy and her sisters horrible names. The kind of names that made me want to throw up when I found out. We'd grounded her for 6 weeks, made her delete her social media, made her apologize in person. But Mike hadn't forgotten. Kitchen, now all of you, he said. Tyler came running, because Tyler always runs everywhere. Emma slouched in, phone in hand, completely clueless about what was coming. Mike went to the garage and came back with his clippers. Not the fancy kind from a salon. The heavy-duty ones he used to use in the Marines. The ones that could shave through anything. Tyler went first. My baby boy sitting on the kitchen chair with his little shoulders squared, trying to be brave. Mike didn't mess around. He put on the shortest guard, I'm talking a number 1, and just buzzing sound, went to work. In 5 minutes, my shaggy little surfer boy looked like he was about to ship out to boot camp. His scalp was pale where the sun hadn't touched it. The sides were shaved so close you could see skin. Tyler ran to the bathroom mirror and let out this whoop of excitement. I look like Captain America, he yelled. Boys, I swear. Then Mike turned to Emma. She was already backing up. Dad, no way, you are not touching my hair. Sit down. His voice had that tone, the one that meant this wasn't a negotiation. What happened next? Look, as a mother watching your daughter cry like that, it's brutal. But as a woman who'd seen what cruelty she was capable of, part of me thought she had it coming. Emma fought him every step of the way, screaming about how he was ruining her life, how she'd never forgive him, how all her friends would laugh at her. Mike just kept working. The clippers hummed. That beautiful long hair fell in chunks onto the kitchen floor. But then, and this is where it gets real, Emma said something unforgivable. Something about Mike being a controlling psycho, just like his deadbeat father. Mike's dad was a sore subject. A real piece of work who'd walked out when Mike was 12. The air in the kitchen changed. Mike put down the regular clippers. He picked up the orange-handled ones, the ones with no guard at all. "Mike," I said, just his name, a warning. He looked at me. "She needs to learn." And he shaved our daughter's head. Completely. When he was done, Emma was bald as an egg. She wasn't crying anymore. She was just stunned, staring at her reflection in the glass of the microwave, touching her head like she couldn't believe it was real. Mike gathered up the clippers, the cords, everything, locked them in his toolbox in the garage, took Emma's phone. Then he turned to me. "Your turn, Sarah." I actually laughed, nervous, hysterical laughter. "Mike, come on, I'm the mom. I need to look normal for work, for." "You were fine with me doing that to your daughter." His eyes were on mine, steady and unwavering. "Either we're a family and we're all in this together, or we're not. Your choice." My heart was hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. I'd had the same hairstyle for 20 years. Long, layered, safe. It was past my shoulders. It was my security blanket, my armor. Without it, I'd be, what? Some middle-aged woman with a bad haircut. I'd look 50. I'd look like a boy. I didn't have the face for short hair, no cheekbones, no delicate features. Just a regular, average face that needed a frame. But Mike was right. I'd stood there and let him shave our daughter bald. What kind of hypocrite would I be if I refused the same treatment? I sat down. Mike wrapped the cape around my neck. The vinyl was cold and impersonal. He picked up his scissors, the big ones, professional shears, and combed through my hair. For a second, his hand touched the back of my neck, gentle, familiar. Then I heard the scissors. Snip, snip. The first chunk of hair slid down the cape and landed in my lap. Dark brown, threaded with gray I'd been coloring for 3 years. It looked dead there, like a small animal. Snip, snip, snip. More hair falling faster now. I felt the weight lifting from my head. Literally felt it getting lighter. And something weird happened. Instead of panic, I felt calm, like I was shedding something I'd been carrying for way too long. I closed my eyes and just let it happen. Let Mike work. The scissors made this rhythmic sound, asterisk, snip, 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 asterisk, almost meditative. I found myself thinking about the women at my office. Not the ones in HR with their blow-dried hair and their highlights, the women in the C-suite, the CFO with her silver buzz cut, the VP of operations with her clippered sides and slicked-back top. They didn't apologize for taking up space. They just existed, powerfully. Their hair wasn't a costume, it was a choice. Sound of clippers turning on. The scissors stopped. I heard the clippers buzz to life, not the scary ones with no guard. The regular ones. Mike put his hand on top of my head, tilted it forward. I felt the cold metal touch the back of my neck. Then he pushed up. Oh my God. The sensation was insane. The vibration traveled through my skull. I felt the blades moving through what was left of my hair like a hot knife through butter. Smooth, unstoppable. The cool air hit the back of my neck, skin that hadn't seen daylight in 2 decades. He worked methodically, up the back, around the sides, over my ears. I could feel the shape of my head for the first time, feel the way my skull curved. It was intimate in a way I hadn't expected. Mike's hands were steady, confident. He was good at this, really good. Done, he said quietly. Wanna look? Did I? I honestly didn't know. But I took the mirror he handed me and lifted it up. The woman looking back at me was not me, could not be me. She was hot, like genuinely, unexpectedly attractive. The top was longer, maybe 2 inches, textured and choppy. The sides and back were buzzed down to almost nothing, this perfect fade from skin to shadow. It was edgy, modern, young. I looked like Pink or Ruby Rose or one of those actresses who shaves their head for a role and suddenly gets even more beautiful. I touched it. My hand went to the buzzed sides first, and oh wow. The feeling of that soft fuzz under my fingers, electric. You can style it different ways, Mike said. He sounded proud, relieved maybe. He took some gel, worked it through the top, pushed it up and over to show off the shaved side. Punk rock mom, he said with a grin. I couldn't stop staring. I love it, I whispered. Mike, I actually love it. He leaned down, kissed my temple right on that freshly buzzed skin. "Good," he murmured against my ear, "because you look incredible." That night, well, let's just say Mike got a very enthusiastic thank you, multiple times. But the real test came the next day. Emma had to go to school, bald exposed, vulnerable in a way she'd never been before. I gave her a beanie for the ride, but we both knew the rules. No hats in school. I was terrified for her. I kept checking my phone all morning, waiting for a call from the principal, or worse, from Emma in tears. When I picked her up that afternoon, she was quiet, climbed in the car, stared out the window. "How bad was it?" I finally asked. She shrugged. Some girls laughed, Madison and her crew, whatever. My heart broke, but then Kennedy came up to me at lunch. I held my breath. She didn't say anything at first, just patted my head. Then she goes, "Badass haircut, Emma," and she smiled, not mean, just smiled. Emma looked at me then, and I saw something different in her eyes, something softer. "I get it now, Mom, what I did to her, how it must have felt." 3 months later, here's where we are. Tyler's getting his head buzzed every summer now. He loves it. Says it makes him faster on the soccer field. Emma's hair is growing back, but she's keeping it short. Like pixie short. Says it's easier, which is teen code for, "I actually like this, but I'm not ready to admit it." And me, Mike cuts my hair every 3 weeks. Still in the kitchen, still with those same clippers. And yes, I still pay him the same way. But here's the thing nobody tells you about drastically changing your appearance. It changes how the world sees you. I've had women assume I'm gay just because of my hair. At first, it bothered me. But then I realized it was the most efficient filter ever invented. The people who judge you based on your hair, not your people. The ones who look past it, who see you, those are your tribe. Last week, Emma and Kennedy both got scouted by a Nike rep at their soccer tournament. Know what she said? That she was specifically looking for athletes with a strong, modern look. Short hair, powerful presence. She offered them both contracts. The kicker, Nike's paying for a high-end stylist to maintain their short cuts. The thing Emma was punished with became her biggest asset. So yeah, that's my story. The haircut that changed everything. Started with bugs, ended with freedom, I guess, from expectations, from who I thought I was supposed to be. I'm 42 years old. I've got a buzz cut, and I've never felt more like myself in my entire life. And it all started with Lice. Funny how life works out, isn't it? If this story resonated with you, whether you've ever made a dramatic hair change, learned a tough lesson, or just love a good family transformation tale, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories. And here's the thing. I know some of you are sitting there thinking about that haircut you've been too scared to get, or that change you've been putting off. Drop a comment and tell me about it. What's holding you back? Or maybe you've already taken the leap. I want to hear about that too. If you enjoyed this, share it with someone who needs a reminder that sometimes the scariest changes turn out to be the best ones. And hey, subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Trust me, I've got more where this came from. Until next time, stay bold, stay brave, and remember, it's just hair. It grows back. Well, most of the time. Catch you in the next one.